Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show, where I interview educators and entrepreneurs on leveling up. Each episode, I zoom in someone who's dope, and we just sit back and have a conversation on what it means to live your best life. Now, if this is your first time checking out the podcast, this is the Mobile University for Entrepreneurs, and I'm your host, Dr. Will. Today's guest is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I mean, when you say big time, we're talking big time. I've been watching her videos, checking her out on the gram. She first came on my radar via Success and their YouTube channel. And I was like, hey, this is some nice information. So I looked her up and I just love the gems that she was dropping. And even before we came on the show, she sprinkled some wisdom on before we started. So I say, I'm excited about this podcast interview. And I'm hoping that you will walk away here inspired, empowered, and ready to make the change in your own life. So for those of you listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Simplecast, Stitcher, and Spotify, will you please introduce yourself, Dr. Cheyenne?
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I'm a psychology expert and life coach in private practice. I am the founder of Dr. Bryant Foundation and the founder of Dr. Bryant Institute. I'm also the president of the South Bay NAACP. And so I do a lot of work in the community, and ultimately everything ties back into what Dr. Will was saying early on, into just helping folks live the best quality of life they can live, giving them tips and tools on how to do it. It's one thing, Bishop Jake says it best. He says, you got to be a doer of the word, not a hearer of the word. And so when I give principles that allow someone to hear them, and when I show them the how to, that allows them to implement them, because knowledge is not power, the application of knowledge is where the power is. And I try my best to make sure that my clients, as well as, me being a psychology expert in the Life Coach for Success magazine, and just different, platforms that I use and that use me, like Forbes and et cetera, to not just be a person who says, listen, these are principles, okay, but this is how you apply the principles. And it makes a huge difference. It literally changes the whole trajectory of folks' life. And that's where the real reward is. And that's where, I get paid to do what I do as far as private practice, of course, but that's not where my real payment is. The check that the bank cashes is minuscule compared to the check that my heart cashes when my clients and people are having breakthroughs, and their marriage is now in a different space, and there's miracles happening and manifestation is happening, and they're texting and calling me saying, Doc, you never believe what just happened. You know what I mean? We manifested this and we spoke this into existence. You're right. There's power in myself. There's power in my tongue. And, I'm standing in my power, and I wear my coat, and I'm proud of myself. And so when you hear that type of empowerment, that's my wealth of paycheck. That's it right there. So, yes.
All right. So I'm always curious, how did people get to where they are? So what did you think you would be doing when you were growing up? And what attracted you to becoming a therapist?
Good question. So growing up, I thought I'd be an educator. Um, and I thought I'd be, education more in the academics, industry, as far as at the K through 12 or collegiate level of really teaching. I always had a nick for wanting to show folks, and it's funny, not teaching like science or mathematics or any of that. I really always naturally, organically had this thing where I want to teach people. I mean, since a little itty bitty girl, Dr. Will, on how to be joyful, how to be yourself, stand in your power, be proud about who you are. God created you perfect just the way you are. Stand in that and be that. The only way you attract what's meant for you is if you be who you are. If you're not who you are, you attract folks who are coming and attracted to your mask or this facade, and that can't last because you're attracting to something that's a lie. We can't heal a lie, and we can't be a magnet from a place of a lie. And so as I grew and grew, and I got to college, I thought, well, I'll go into the field of law. And it's interesting because the field of law was more for, I believe, and I'm just being transparent, I believe that was more for maybe the feel good to the ego. You know, I'm an attorney. I'm able to get in here and really, kill the courtroom, win these cases, and be the big dog, in the big pond. And when I had a more of an internal discussion with source for me being God, um, it was just, he said to me, you can do that because you're going to be good at anything you do. That's just what how big my God is. He empowers me in that way. He said, but you may live a good, wealthy, monetarily life, but that's not what's going to feed your soul. And if you want to find your purpose, he told me to find myself. And when he told me to find myself, and then there goes my purpose, that's when my whole healing journey started. I said, wow, you want me to find myself? And I argued with him a little bit. I said, myself, I know who I am, right? And I'm over here 20 something years old. I know who I am. And, I bought my first house at 19. So I'm successful. I bought my first, little 1,200 square foot home in the city of Long Beach. And I'm 19 and I'm rocking and rolling. And I'm a freshman in college and I have a daycare in my home. And so for me, I'm thinking, I know who I am. Well, I knew how to do things externally, and I knew how to do things that were satisfying aesthetically. But when God said, find who you are, and there's your purpose, he's talking about something that's in you, not on you or around you. And so I started to find out who I was. And as I found out who I was and went on my own healing journey, and I started healing my pain pockets, and I came to a place, what I call God's peace, then I found myself. And then in that moment, I found my purpose. I said, you know what? My purpose is to bring this God's peace to every person I come in contact with. The journey and the process for each person will be different, but the end result of God's peace and of healing and of being a sturdy oak will all be the same. And that's where the commonality comes in at. And so I just, I instead of going to law school, I went to get my master's and then my doctorate. And it's been a gift. It's been a gift ever since. I mean, it has really been a gift because, when you do something that, when I say find yourself, you find purpose. There's a huge reason for that, Dr. Will, because if I find me, and then there's my purpose, meaning they are one and the same. Every day that I show up, just like now, I'm being myself. Being is liberating. Doing is draining. So if I'm being myself all day long and I'm serving my purpose, one and the same, I'm always recharging. I'm always empowered. I'm always ready to go. But if I have to come out of me to do something else that's not me, I'm draining myself all day long. And that can only last for so long because then I'm on empty. And then what do I plug into to recharge me to go do over here when I can just be? I can be and live the best quality of life, and I can show others by example and by presenting tools and tips and the how-to on how to do that. Because in that space is where the real wealth is. Your wealth is in who you are. Your wealth is in who you are. It is in who you be. It is not in what you do. And that's where all of your wealth will, you become a magnet for that at which you are. And if you stand in your authentic power, you're a magnet for wealth. Wealth meaning wealthy relationships. Wealth meaning a wealthy check you can deposit in your account. Because the Bible also talks about money being the root to all evil, but that means that the lust for money being the root of all evil. It also says that money solves all things. You guys Google that too. So it tells you principles on even how to deal and have a relationship with money. It says a relationship with money is that it solves all things. So solving, meaning that money is solving your problem. So the magnet, which is you who may have the issue or concern, you're the magnet for the solution being money. So your relationship with money isn't I need you, it's money needs me. I'm a magnet for money. Money has no value unless I spend it. Everywhere I go, there goes money. Everywhere I go, money prepays things for me. It makes ways for me. Money needs me. I'm a magnet, not the other way around, because then you become a slave to it. And money was meant to serve us in the way of intentional and not expectational. We set intent through wealth. And then the universe, which is God created the universe for us. The universe is not God. That's my own perception. The universe will provide everything some of that wealth happens to come through monetary forms, which is the cheapest, well, to me, the cheapest, you know, example of wealth. Relationship, love, family, connection, finding yourself, that's wealth. And so when I got to that space of understanding what God's peace feels like, what standing in your power feels like, what, you know, being who I am and being able to be paid for being who I naturally am, you can't, you can't get a better world than that. And so many people, I mean, everybody's gifted. And it's just so mind blowing when you help peel back the onion peelings of another person, and then they get a peek of how beautiful they are, and they're in awe of themselves. I mean, that is a life changing aha celebratory moment for that person. That person that, you know, me as the life coach or therapists who come in, pastors do it when they're really doing the real work. When that happens, you get to share that peace, because what God moves through you, he gives to you, good or bad. So whatever I'm able to give you, Dr. Will, I get to keep. And I don't want to keep nothing bad. I don't want to keep nothing negative. So I want to plant positive seeds in everyone I come in contact with. I want to make sure that folks use me to the fullest capacity that they can use me. Because if I know I allow you to use me, then I get to keep that using for whatever I need. Because my payback doesn't come from humans. My payback comes from the universe. It comes from God. It comes from source. So that I can receive at an abundance level. If I wait for you to pay me back, it'll be in a number that I can count. I don't want my blessings coming in a number I can count. Give me my abundance. That's a birthright, and I'll take it. So I never hold you accountable. You hold yourself accountable. That's not I don't have permission to do that. Accountability is between you and yourself. I'm holding my source, my God, who told me, I know the plans I have for you. I have plans to prosper you, plans to give you a future. This is what God told us. That's his promise to me. So I hold him accountable for his promises that he will use you to bless me with. And then I just say thank you to you and show him gratitude, and everything pours in all day long. I'm telling you, manifestation happens every second if you're open to it. And how do you stay open to it? We have one job, and that's to be happy. If we stay in our happy, which is in the vortex, then we're open like this. And my arms are big. They're open up like this. Whenever we're not in our happy, we're open like this. And if I'm asking for a blessing that's bigger than this, it means it can't get through. That means I'm in my own way. That's not Dr. Will's fault. That's not my mom's fault, the job's fault. It's not even God's fault, because I'm open like this. Emotions is what creates a vibration, which creates a manifestation. So if I keep myself in the happy space, the universe mirrors to me that at which I feel, not that at which I think. This is where people get it really, really, I believe, because Think and Grow Rich, don't get me wrong, that's true. I mean, they were onto something with Think and Grow Rich. They forgot to elaborate more on the Feel and Grow Rich, because that's really where the universe mirrors. This is why you can think something, thank God, and it doesn't manifest like that. Whatever that at which we feel, we will create more of that throughout our day and throughout our lifestyle. So you have one job, Dr. Will, one job, and that's to be freaking happy. Whether it's being happy sitting on a balcony because you're just gazing out on the stars, being happy taking a cool little run or walk on the beach, being happy doing absolutely nothing, playing some good old school music because that's what works for me. But whatever gets you in that happy, your job is to get there and stay there. Stay there. And happy doesn't always look like you're swinging off the chandeliers. Sometimes happiness is calmness and just being in peace. But if you get there, this is not my opinion, it's principle. The universe will match that every time. But if you stay in the other space, which is outside the vortex, it'll give you more reasons to be pissed off. It'll give you more reasons to have road rage. It'll give you more reasons to why you got bills to pay. So you got to choose your momentum, because we're creators, not controllers. We can't control the way it goes, but we create that by saying, how do I get in my happy? And what do I want the universe to mirror for me? What experience do I want to have with Dr. Will? I got to create it in me, and I got to offer it to you, because you're going to mirror me, because I'm only experiencing myself. There really is no Dr. Will in my world. It's Dr. Bryant and Dr. Bryant, who has a different physical form that looks like Dr. Will. And that at which I give you is what we, myself, will experience. And folks are waiting for Dr. Will to make the first move, when usually whatever is missing in the relationship is what you're not giving. Because the experience is just the exchange with yourself. If people can get that concept, I'm always experiencing me. So I create the experience I want you and I to have. I give love, Dr. Will, because I have love to give, and I want to have a loving experience with you on your show. That's just true. I'm going to give you gratitude. I'm going to empower you. I'm going to look for you to do amazing as an interviewer of me. I'm looking for that because I want an amazing experience between us. I want a connection with you. And when I give that, I'm going to receive that, because I can only receive that, which how can I not receive it if I'm giving it? I'm full of it.
All right, y'all. Y'all gonna learn today. We're all facing our own challenges and distractions, especially now with the pandemic and how everything has been shut down and things have been shuffled at work and even in our personal lives. How can we sort of get it together and not compare ourselves to, other people, whether you're on the gram and you're seeing what people are doing, or Twitter, or even friends or family who may be making moves that you thought that you wanted to make or had dreams of making, but you never made that move. How can we just get out of our own way?
I love that. I love that question as well, because, a lot of times it's exactly that. It's you getting out of your own way. And the most disrespectful thing that you can do to yourself and to your creator, whoever, I don't care if it's God, Buddha, whatever your higher being is, because we're a thumbprint of our creator. So hear me out, stick with me on this. If you're a thumbprint of your creator and you look at your higher being as being this big, then that is how big at which you will feel, because you're going to mimic that at which you are a thumbprint of. This is why I remind people of how big their God is, so they can understand how big they are. And the worst thing you can do to yourself or your higher being is to compare yourself to someone else. That means that what you're saying is that God made a mistake when he created you, that God made a mistake when he put you together in the perfect way that he put you together. So this is how it is. You may have not made the move that someone else made, because that wasn't your move to make. See, you got to let folks have their move, and you got to have your move, because your move and their move isn't measured by what it looks like again. Because if you made the move that they made, you wouldn't reap the benefits that they did if it's not for you. Look, what's yours is yours. You don't have to be in the front line hollering and screaming and doing the Holy Ghost for you to receive what's yours. You got folks way back in the pews that's going to get what's theirs, regardless of what's coming. All you have to do is show up. And showing up means show up for yourself. Show up with the confidence. Show up with the faith. Show up with the empowerment. Show up broken. Show up hurt. Show up crushed. Show up divorced. Show up a single parent. Show up with 0 counts and negative in your bank account. Your job is to show up. Let God show out. Too many of us are trying to take on the role of, this is what I want, and then I'm gonna figure out how to get it. The desire is your business. The how-to is not. And so when you're comparing yourself to what someone else is doing and where you want to be, you're stepping out of who you are. And so that's the epitome of self-hate. That's the epitome of self-hate. And it's not that the person who's doing it is a bad person, because oftentimes you go through that process of having to look out, right? Because we're looking for exposure to see what are our options. What do we like while we're figuring out who we are? That is okay. But if you go past just trying to get exposure as to what's out there and what are people doing and who can I admire, who can I get a blueprint from, to I want to be like that person, you are disrespecting who you are and who your creator is. And you have to say, okay, I really am perfect the way I am. God made me this way. He made me to speak this way, because the folks who I am going to touch and change or be involved with, or I need to attract to get to the next level, need me to be who I am to get there. And if I waver left or right from being who God created me to be, then I mess up my blessing. But until then, I'm doing okay. But if I do what Dr. Will is doing, then I mess up what Dr. Bryant's plan was. And so we have to understand that. And this, when you can disassociate, Dr. Bryant needing to be like someone else to be validated, guess what? I allow Dr. Will to have his shine. Now I'm able to empower you, not emasculate you, because I'm proud of you. I'm not in competition with you. There's a difference. And if I look at you as my ally, I need Dr. Will to make it all the way up that ladder. Because if he's an ally of mine, then I can tap him in and say, hey, what stairs did you take? What floor are you on? What room are you in? Who do I ask for when I arrive? That's an ally. That's community. But what happens is we have all these neighborhoods. And when I say neighborhoods, I'm not talking about a real city, neighborhoods within relationships where people are starting to look at neighborhoods and say, how can I compete with that block? Versus if I build a relationship with Dr. Will, who lives on the next block, then guess what? That means I have a pal over there. He can work that block. I can work this block. And we come together to brief on this. We got teamwork. We're able to move forward as a unit, and we can grow faster and quicker, and then we can expand. Because the thing is, you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go as a team. And that's how you build a team spirit. We can't be a team, Dr. Will, if I'm stepping on your toes. And envy and jealousy is not an action, it's a spirit, which means I feel it even if you don't show it. I feel it even if you don't say it. And remember, what God moves through you, he gives to you. So if you moving through yourself, envious and jealousy and comparing yourself to other folks, you also keep that agony. Mm. So you control that by saying, because sometimes it's hard to not be envious of somebody else when you want it. And it's like, well, how do they keep getting these blessings? I'm doing everything I can. How do they keep getting what it is that I have an ideology that I want? Now I'm not even close. I just don't get it. And when you get in that space, that's when you have to start to use the power of your tongue, the power of prophesizing, and speak to your God. Tell him, I don't understand. I need to hear from you. I need to feel you. I've been in this field for 13 plus years. I do this all day long, and I still tell God every day. I know he probably gets tired of me. I don't hear you loud enough. I need you to speak louder. I forgot them steps you said. Where are we going again? Oh, I don't feel you today. I need to feel you. God, open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing. All day long, I'm talking to my God. I have a relationship with him. And he meets me where I'm at because I show him who I am. Key thing. People will meet you where you at because they're all vessels for God working for you, Dr. Will, if you show them who you are. We can't heal a lie. Show me the truth. And you don't have to depend on me to not judge you. You just have to depend on your God to empower you. See, we go to man for too much when we should be going to God for everything. And that's one of the biggest things. God is here to provide us with the faith and the trust in him. And then he sends us the tools, being in people and things that are going to bless us. This is why my job is to never be jealous of you or compare myself to you. Because if God sent you to bless me for what I prayed for, and I'm too busy trying to compress you while you're trying to come up to bless me, I'm doing myself a disadvantage. Because if God put you in my view to see, then he put you in my view or in my presence close enough to bless me. So I have to allow you to do that. You're not here for no reason. Everything is purposeful. It's purposeful. So I am comparing myself to you and I am attempting to compress you for my ego, because that's all it is. I'm compressing my blessing. I'm not allowing you to show up how you need to because you're only here to ascend me. And if I stay in my happy place, I'm open like this, right? I'm not open like this, and everything can funnel through. Because I always say, this is true. God is so amazing. He made each of us this beautiful river that has this, I mean, when I say immaculate river, it has this flow. The water flows in a way that only God can create. It's the most perfect flow, okay? And everything in that river has everything we want: the love, the money, the house, the car, the mate, the feeling, whatever, things will blow your mind that you don't even know. He places us in there when he creates us. Our job is to go with the flow of that river that was already perfectly, uniquely created for Dr. Will. Now, what does that mean? That means you surrender. You surrender to the flow and let that river take you where you're supposed to go. But what do most people do? They turn around and they get to swimming upstream because they don't trust that everything was created perfectly for their ease, for their ebb and flow. So there's no surrender. It's a complete upflow fight. And they're upset and mad saying, why me or why not me? Haven't surrendered to anything, not even themselves, but they know everything. In that river is a space where you let go, you let God, and you surrender to what is. Because that river will take you, if you let it flow you, to everywhere you're supposed to be, like a video game. You just go down the flow and you pick up your diamonds, you pick up your gems, you pick up your house, you pick up this, and it gets, when I tell you your blessings, Dr. Will, when you surrender, listen, Linda, your blessings get to you at a speed, I'm not exaggerating, where you're overwhelmed in the best way you could. You're saying, oh God, okay, hold on. I gotta manage this blessing. Now I got this blessing. Oh, I think I need a bigger team now. Or let me see. The blessings just pour in because he says, you trust me. You've surrendered. The flow I already have created perfectly for you, Dr. Will. Now you're allowing me to take you where what did he say? Have plans for you, to prosper you, to give you houses you didn't build, to give you vineyards you didn't grow. That's a surrendering process. If I told you, Dr. Will, when you get to my house, I have $1,000,000 for you. Here's the address. You'd be on your way. You put that thing in your GPS, you wouldn't think twice. You put your music on and you'd be flowing. You'd be flowing down that river to get to where you know I got this blessing, this wealth, this gift for you. That's how it is all day long when we learn to surrender. In my world, I wake up, I surrender to God, and I say, I'm ready. What are we doing today? I'm excited because I know the day is going to be hit with different packages that just show up in my world. Just whether it's I get to feel this burst of love, right, from family or mom, or I get to be there for someone who I couldn't wait to be there for. I get a client that has a breakthrough. I get to have a 14-year-old client who's telling me, oh, Dr. Brown, I just manifested $200 more for the money I'm saving. Like just the blessings on top of blessings because I'm surrendering and I'm trusting that me being who I am is not just perfect. That is exactly what is supposed to be. You can't get more perfect than that. So when we show up as who we are, we receive the blessings that are meant and have our name on it. You can't show up as Dr. Will and say you're Dr. Brian and get mad because you get my little package that you didn't pray for. Get out of your own way. That's your fault.
So you're an entrepreneur starting your own life coaching company. What were you seeing either in your practice or in society that motivated you to start your own company?
Well, a few things. There's absolutely nothing wrong with people who work for companies, work for, small companies, big companies. I have a team of people, obviously, who work for the Dr. Bryant Institute, Dr. Bryant Foundation, and shoot, these people actually, they make the company. They hold us together. They're the backbone. They're the foundation. I'm being honest. I'm not just saying that because that's what a leader is supposed to say. These folks are really the backbone of the Dr. Bryant Institute, and they hold us together. For myself, I've always, I always say I was born, just a leader in the sense that I've always been a sturdy oak. I'm the oldest of seven. Maybe that helped. I'm the oldest of seven. I've always been a sturdy oak, and I've always been the one who, who was bold. I had no problem with brushing some shoulders or making some noise or, shaking some things up because of maybe my perception or my way of wanting to do something because I seen a bigger picture may have been different. It wasn't always kumbaya. Obviously, it comes with some conflict, but I was always the one that wasn't coming in to start the trouble, but I damn sure wasn't running from it. And so with that type of leadership, whenever I did work, for example, I was 15 working at Wells Fargo, the bank. I came in as a teller and they advanced me very quick to wanted me to be branch manager within a year of me going to college. And I said, no, I don't want to do that because I started my own business. And then when I seen the power that I had in helping people understand that there are no followers. See, that's the thing. Everybody's a leader. And on my ship, me and the Dr. Bryant company ship, I don't have any followers. I'm leading leaders, and I have leaders who are leading other leaders. And why I say that is I don't have to spoon feed my team. And so when we're on that ship and say Dr. Bryant, the head leader happens to lose direction, I have Taylor, who's really one of my Dr. Bryant team members. Taylor, she's not a follower, she's a leader. This girl has her own creative control over what we do in this company. When I give Taylor a goal or something to reach, I allow her the creative control to say, no, Dr. Bryant, we should do it this way. And 9 times out of 10, Taylor's way makes more sense than Dr. Bryant's way. So I say that to say that I found myself being able to, this is what I believe true leadership is, being able to bring out the leader in folks around me and not make them feel like I'm the leader and they're the follower or the worker. And so now they're limited. People have came and worked for the Dr. Bryant Institute and said, I've never been able to have this much freedom, in my opinion, at a meeting. I said, well, I don't know what company you're working for. Because if a company wants their company to grow, I'm paying you for your mindset. I'm paying you for your ideas. I'm paying you for everything that you are and everything that you bring. I'm not going to limit you because I limit my company. So for myself, getting into entrepreneur, it fit who I am and it fit my makeup and it fit my build. Do I think everyone is built to be a business owner, an entrepreneur? No. But I do believe that everybody is a leader in that position or that space that they get in. That's what I do believe. Not everybody has the capacity or the desire to manage and run a whole company. Entrepreneurship is not always easy. We don't get paid for time. We work for free. A true entrepreneur understands we work for free. We're not on the clock and we really don't charge by the hour. We work for free. We're put in work all the time for the big lump sum that comes in when it does. And is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I realized that, I said, if I have the opportunity to feed other families, to pull out the leadership that are in other folks, to really empower people who work for me and work with me, and show people that, there's not one type of leader. A leader isn't just someone like Dr. Will, who has this wonderful podcast. A leader is not just Dr. Brian, who runs her successful private practice or runs the NAACP. My board members are leaders. My VP is a leader. My members of my branch are leaders in the community doing their own thing. And so when we understand that, then we get a full car and a full engine that really works really well together. And it's not an issue when it breaks down, because when leadership's a mindset, when someone thinks that they are following behind you, they're waiting for you to guide and instruct all the time. Again, that goes back to doing, which is draining, and not allowing people to be, which is empowering, and being free in that space.
So in the work you're doing, you're offering workshops and coaching sessions, you do public speaking, and you have a course focused on teaching other people how to launch their own coaching business. I've seen you talk about this in a video on the Dr. Bryant TV, but I want you to speak about the power of alignment and how important is alignment in entrepreneurship.
Alignment is the most important part of running a company. And let me back up. First of all, alignment within yourself is most important as an entrepreneur before you start to hire on other folks, because we give that at which we are. If I have discord in me, Dr. Will, then I'm going to project discord onto those who are under my leadership. All my leaders who are under my leadership, I'm going to project that onto them. And then there is no alignment within all of us. And so I have to fill myself up with that alignment, that harmony. I always say your 3-part house is the only thing that needs to be in alignment. 3-part house is how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. Is that in alignment? Because when that's in alignment, people know that you are reliable. They know that they can count on you, because what Dr. Will is saying and how Dr. Will is showing me he's feeling and his actions are all in alignment. So I know he's a man of his word. But if he tells me he's going to be in at 5 o'clock and then he comes in at 5:30, which is behavior, right? but then he's acting like he has somewhere to go, so he doesn't really want to be there. Now we have discord. We have disharmony, things all over the place. And you can't lead like that. And so alignment is extremely, important. The Bible says that a house divided can't stand. Your three-part house being yourself, if that's divided, you can't stand. And you can't create a house, i.e. your company outside of you, divided. It can't stand. And so does that mean that everyone needs to be on the same accord as far as the end result in your company, within yourself? Absolutely. Do they have to have the same way at which they reach that accord? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But they do all have to say the bigger picture is we are trying to reach $500,000 within 6 months in the Dr. Bryant Institute. Now, how are we going to do that? Everyone who's a leader in here, which is everyone I hire, you use your creative control to figure out how we lead this ship to get to that goal. But we have to have the same goal in mind. That's what alignment is. And it's important as well to have people be in alignment with your culture of your company, not just alignment within the goal, but what culture are you setting for your company? Do you have a company that's lenient where folks can come and go as long as they get their deadlines reached? Are you a company where no, folks need to be there from 9 to 5 because you want to make sure they're there and they're getting work done? Do you want everything to be formal? People are dressed up in the culture of the company. Are folks coming in casual with flip-flops and they're able to bring their pets and animals to work with them? Because you have some cultures that rock and roll like that and they thrive more in that aspect. I have found the Dr. Bryant culture, if I allow my folks to work a little more independently, but I still hold them accountable for reaching deadlines, we work well like that. But listen to this, Dr. Well, it's not that we work well. That's my alignment of how Dr. Bryant works. See how I said we project onto those that we're leading, that at which our style is. I'm not a micromanager and I don't like to babysit people. So the folks that I hire on happen to be very independent rock star folks who can work throughout the day by themselves without having to all day long ask for my guidance. They even make decisions on my behalf without having to call on me to ask me what needs to be done. And those decisions are almost, I'm not exaggerating, 9.5 out of 10 times is exactly what I would have done, if not better. So alignment to me is the foundation of yourself, first of all, because you project who you are, and definitely of your business, of your company. I had a young girl who worked for me, and at the beginning, I felt it, and I knew she wasn't a right fit, but shouldn't have did this. I went out of my way and said, hey, she really wants to work for me. This girl has been wanting to work for me for years. She's a big fan of my work. She's in the same field as me. Maybe I can help her out. Well, should have never went against my own alignment is what I did. And she came in and caused discord, not because she's a bad person, but because she wasn't in alignment with the culture of this company. It was too much for her. Our culture was too independent for her. She needed a lot more hand-holding, a lot more guidance. That's not who I am. And I always say this, you don't change who you are as the business owner, you change up who you hire. You don't change up your prices or rate, you change up your clients. Understand that. That's how it goes. You don't change up what Dr. Will's gonna charge for his service. You get clients who can afford your service. You don't change up how you work, you run your company. Bill Gates never changed up. If you read his books, he talks about he was a big a-hole. He talks about that in his books. He said, I never changed up how I did things. I just changed up the folks who can match my fly. Now, some people can say, that's horrible and all these bad names about him, but hey, his blueprint worked. His blueprint worked. It's less of a headache if I can work with folks who are compatible. Alignment is compatibility, who are compatible to the way at which I run my company. Because I'm not spending all day long trying to teach you, trying to form you, because we can't control, or trying to create a different environment for you.
So what is the greatest life lesson you've learned, and how has that impacted your work as an entrepreneur?
Now, the greatest life lesson goes back to your first question you said about folks comparing themselves. My greatest life lesson, this is serious, is to be exactly who I am in every space that I am, be okay with that, and validate myself. If I show up somewhere and God gave me the address, I belong there. God knows who I am. He created me. He didn't have me show up somewhere for me to be someone else. He didn't have me show up somewhere for me to feel like I'm too black, I'm acting too black in the room, or I'm outnumbered because I'm the only woman, or I'm the only minority, or he didn't have me show up to say that I'm not good enough, or I don't know enough. You showed up because everything you have and everything you are is what's needed in that room. You wouldn't have the address. And so my biggest life lesson, and this is not just in business, but it's also in relationships and in your personal world, and to show up exactly who you are, especially in relationships. Because we all want to be loved unconditionally. And folks can't love your conditions if you're not showing them what your conditions are. And so the best thing to do is first find out who in the heck are you? Who in the heck are you? And how do you find that out? Meditation is the biggest thing that gets you grounded back into source. Meditation pushes you outward and it lets you experience who you are. And the second way is to show up in the exact way that you feel you should show up. And then see the reaction that you have on that, not others. How did I feel about how I showed up today? Am I proud about how I did? Me, not Dr. Will, me. Am I okay with how I showed up as Dr. Bryant? Because I'm the only person that has permission to measure what more I need to do or what more I need not to do based on the outcome of who I am and who I want to be. So number one thing, and I'm telling you, it's the most liberating thing you can be. And the beauty of it is, Dr. Will, when you are exactly who you attract everything compatible to who you are. There is nothing more freeing, more satisfying than compatibility in any relationship. If I can sit up and have pajamas on and my hair's in a bird's nest and have a Diet Coke with a large pizza on my lap and you sitting next to me and we're compatible in that moment, and I don't have to fix my hair or fix my words or fix my tone because you just get me, but you can only just get me because I've been me. You can't match that well. You cannot match that well. That's your recharge. So the biggest lesson is be who you are and let folks who belong to you become attracted to the magnet that you are when you're being who you are. You'll never regret that. You never regret that.
So you're the author of Mental Detox, the power and guidance to implement peace, joy, balance, and financial abundance in your life. Well, what was the pain point behind writing the book? And what do you hope people take away from it?
Yeah. So the pain point behind writing it was, my healing journey of understanding, my own abandonment issues, in the ways that I was, abusive maybe to myself in ways, even if it was something small as self sabotage or sabotaging relationships or comparing myself to maybe this is what I want and how come I'm not there. Just a lot of unanswered questions that were already there because no question comes without an answer, no problem comes without a solution. Those things are married together. It's polarity. They're on the same playing field. They're the exact same thing. They just show up differently. The thing is, we focus so much on what our question is and what our problem is. We just don't let out. We don't let in the answer. Remember, this is not letting in. When we ask a question, we ask and we surrender. Go big. We have a problem, we identify it, surrender. Go big. Let the answer come in. You're so focused on the problem, the answer's here and you're not even seeing it because you're making the problem such a dang on production. Stop making the problem a production. Let's make the answer a production. Let's celebrate the answer. So for myself, when I start to see the concept of how to get the answers and how to make things move quicker and how to create my momentum. And again, how I got into my God's peace, I just thought the world needs to know these principles and know how to apply them because, if we can get folks to really get in contact with who they are, heal their pain pockets, then, even if it's just, again, if it's just a handful of people, to me, that's legacy. That's legacy. Hurt people, and healed people, heal people. So my intent, and I said this when I wrote my book, because first I had writer's block for, months. I'm just sitting there like, God, I want to write the perfect book. I want this. And he said, you know what? That ain't it. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, I said, oh, you know what? Okay, God, I want to write this book. Give me the words to write. Give me the message to send so that anyone who picks up this book, they don't get the message I'm putting out. They get the message that they need in that space and in that time in which they're going through. And when I said that, Dr. Will, and I said, this is what it is, I wrote that book and had it edited, published in 30 days. It got delivered on my birthday, September 6th, as God's gift to me to say, now you get it. Get out of your ego. It's not about it being a good book. It's about it healing people. It's about it helping folks. Let everybody read the same words, but receive the message they need. That's what it's about. Something bigger than yourself. And that's exactly what happens. Some folks pick out different parts of the book, or they say this piece helped them and this piece helped them, or they got a message that maybe my intent wasn't that message, but that's what they received. And hey, then that is exactly what is meant for them to have. And so, that was really the nature of it. I'm telling you, when you go from a space of confusion, of pain pockets you don't understand, of situations and circumstances that you were placed in, and that it's just trauma that just doesn't make sense to you as a child or adolescent, and you grow up an adult and you're still this confused kid and you just don't get it. It'll put you in a space where you stop asking questions. At least I did. I started to demand answers. I was past I need this answer. No. I was in the demanding. I need to hear from you loud and clear, God. You need to send me where I need to go. Tell me what I need to hear, and we'll deal with however I feel about it later. And that's where I want people to do it. And in addition to that, people learning how to be gentle with themselves when they're on this journey of life that is always a journey, and having compassion for themselves, and being okay with not being okay, and being okay with being confused in that moment, or not knowing what the next step is, or not being where you see your neighbor being, or not knowing how the hell am I going to get there when I'm way over here. When you're in those spaces of uncertainty, beating yourself up is abuse. That's a mirror of self-hatred. In those moments, I want folks to be compassionate with themselves. I want people to have empathy with themselves. I want people to say, you know what? It's okay that I am where I am. I just want to be better tomorrow. It's okay that I don't get it. Send me to where I can get it. You know what? Let me be gentle with me and just be present in what's going on. Because again, remember, the more we can be gentle with us, the more that we can love on ourselves, the more we are in our happy space. And in our happy space is where all the magic happens. That's where manifestation takes place. Nothing manifests when you're outside of the peaceful, happy, magical space. That's why folks who got these things happening to them, they keep having these things happening to them. Folks who have these good, magical things happening to them keep having good, magical things happening to them. They're in the vortex. They stay in that happy space. That's where the magic is. So that's what I want folks to get that. In my next book, The ABCs of Manifestation, it teaches them A through Z, how to manifest, what that space is like, how to be in that happy space, how to get in it when you know you're out of it, and all of that good stuff. So it's like the additive to the mental detox.
Since you just mentioned that, I want to, because I saw a video on your website. I want to ask you this: how do people ask for what they want and even know what they want? Because a lot of us, you just get up, you go to work every day, and that just become habit. This is what you do, and you may or may not be happy, but that's your routine. And when someone gets to a point to where they're like, there has to be more out there, there has to be more to this, How do they get to the point of being able to ask for what they want and know what they want?
Got it. So you don't have to know, I'm going to answer it backwards. You don't have to know exactly what you want. That's the beauty of it. Even if you listen, you don't even have to know anything that you want. Just know that you want something different. That's the
Mm,
starting point. Then what do you ask for? You say, I want something different. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it feels like. Can you send me that clarity? Show me what I want. See, that's that self-love piece of saying, it's okay that I don't know what I want. Okay, but I want to know what I want. So let me ask and articulate what I want to know. Not let me stay stuck until I figure out what I want to know so I can know what to ask. No, I don't know what I want. God, show me clear. Show me in everything around me. Show me in the bus stop. Show me in my neighbor. Show me on TV. I want things popping up everywhere. This is how I talk to God. Make it so clear. I want to go to the ice cream shop and the ice cream has the name of what I want. I want to go to the gas station and there's a bumper sticker in front of the guy's car I park and it says, this is what you want. And I want it to all be sequenced. So I say, I keep seeing this. Oh, I do want that. Right? So that's figuring it out. But use your words, use your power, Speak to God, speak to the universe, because it's your genie. When you speak it, it shows up. Period. And then when you go in your happy space, you receive it. Anything you ask for that hasn't showed up in physical form is because you're like this. It's principle. You're like this. Anything you ask for and it comes in physical form is because you've been like this. The more you like this, the quicker it comes. The second thing is when you ask, this is extremely fundamental. When you're asking for stuff, folks are asking wrong. You don't ask from a place of begging. You don't religion, which I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I grew up Catholic, and I now watch Bishop Jakes and in Christianity. So I'm for it all, just as long as it gets you to the good place and you're in God's peace. But religion often teaches us that we pray from a place of being lower than, which they call humility, and saying, please, 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 I know I don't deserve it, but please bless me with it, but I don't deserve it. Well, that in itself is asking from a place of lack. Stick with me. The universe, based on law of attraction, we attract who we are despite of who we think we are. If I am asking for something and I'm wanting it too bad in my asking, what am I mirroring to the universe to mirror back to me? Lack. I'm saying, please, 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 and the only reason why I'm begging and I'm pleading is because I'm feeling the absence of it. And I'm telling the universe it's lacking. I feel it. And and the feeling of it not being here is tearing me up. So send me more of that. That's what we're telling the universe. Send me more of that. So how do you ask? You first meditate. You don't have to go like this, but at least meditate. Get your emotions to feel what it will feel like when you have that job, what it will feel like when you're driving that car, what it feels like when you get off the plane and you're in Africa somewhere, your dream trip, Maui, wherever you want to go. How are you feeling surreal? Like, I can't believe I'm here. This is blowing my mind. Wow, I'm really in Paris. I'm really getting married. Oh my God. Then go there. And when you're in there, ask for it. But don't ask from a place of lack, because the universe is going to mirror to you its principle. It mirrors to you, Dr. Will, exactly what you feel. If you feel it's not there, then it's not there. It can't come to you in that place of lack. It's just impossible. It's like if you look in the mirror right now, you look in a real mirror and you get mad because you see you and you don't see my face. But how can you see, Dr. Bryant? Your will. But if I stand next to you and you look in the mirror, then you can see me. Does that make sense? So if you put abundance next to what you feel is missing and you ask from an abundant place, what do you see? What do you receive? Abundance. And so even myself, of course, it's obvious that, like I'm in the market to purchase the home. It's obvious that the home that I want is not here physically, but I keep generating this emotion of this house already here, me driving home to it. I'm super excited. I got my mama bear in there with me. You know, my little brother's coming over every Sunday to watch the football games with us. We're cooking up food. We got the family over. I mean, our backyard ambience, Dr. Will, is killer. I mean, the pool is just sparkling. I'm there, but I feel it. And so as I'm feeling it, the universe will mirror that. So we got to make sure we don't want it so bad to where the universe feels the lack in it and not the excitement about having it. Feel the excitement about having it, not the lack that it's not here. And that's why people say, I've been praying and praying, Dr. Bryant. It's just not coming. No, you're too desperate from it. You're praying from a place of despair. And the universe sees lack. It doesn't see anything else. So pray from a place of, I got it. I'm good. I'm rocking and rolling. If you got to pray after you come back from something that has you geeked up, ask for it then. Ask for it when your favorite song's on and you're jamming in the car. Yeah. Matter of fact, I want my house. Matter of fact, I want my job. You got to get into that zone so it can mirror to you that at which is yours. That's how you do it. So really quick, I want to wrap that question up with this, because this is how you know what you're going to receive. Ask yourself first, how do I feel right now about what I'm asking? How do I feel right now about this home I'm asking for? Am I feeling like it's impossible? Am I feeling like it ain't here? All right, let me switch up how I feel so I can mirror that. That's the most important thing. Number one question, how do I feel right now when I think about that? How do I feel when I think about walking down the aisle? How do I feel when I think about that position? How do I feel when I think about having that? Then you got to work on how you feel about it, because God blesses us at the level of our belief. If you don't feel good about it, you ain't believing in it enough. And it's not what it is, it's what you will have it to be. You're a creator, not a controller. So you're creating that, create it in yourself.
Okay, I'm just letting this sit with me right now. So before we go, I want to sort of ask you to touch on the imposter syndrome. You know, like when you're where you want it to be, you've put in work to get there, you know, cognitively you got it, but when you step into the room or you step onto a stage or you get that invite to come somewhere, doubts of creep in. Why me? Are they sure they sent the right invitation to the person? How do people get around that and embrace, right, their fullest potential, their fullest self, without ego, right? Without them going like, of course they sent that to me. I'm the man. But you know, feeling confident about themselves and understanding, yes, I should be there.
Well, actually, a person should be exactly what you described as ego with themselves. So I always say we should be arrogant with ourselves, but never with people. That's very important to understand. I should be confident on steroids when it has to do with my self-talk to me, but not when I'm speaking to you. What does that look like? It looks like exactly what you said. They sent me the invitation because I belong there. I'm invited because I may not know the culture of this group yet, but obviously this is my group. I'm only showing up because I'm going to be a blessing to someone else and I'm coming to collect all my blessings. I'm excited and can't wait to get there because everything that's there is new. And anything new represents something amazing. Wow, look at how big I must be. Look at how God must see me. God is finally showing me and allowing me to see me how he sees me. God, continue to show up so I can see myself as big as you have created me to be. Now that I got the invitation, I'm going to make sure I wear my coats of many colors. I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out. I'm going to show up. I don't know how I'm going to show out, but I'm excited just to be present. My one job is to show up. I got the address. God sent it to me. I must belong there. So when I walk in, I'm walking in with confidence of that I belong here. So you do need to have that self-talk. That should be something that you start to implement and believe and empower yourself with. Because your birthright is you are deserving of everything you want and more. And when you understand that, things will show up at that level. Water seeks its own level. Belief seeks its own level. You believe this big, you receive that big. You believe this small, this is where you end up. And this is my thing. Listen, we wake up shooting regardless. We're all shooting at something. Doesn't matter what it is, right? We're all dreaming something. The only problem that folks have when it comes to dreaming, they're dreaming far too small. They're dreaming far too small. And when folks are shooting at something they're aiming at eye level. If you know you have a chance of missing no matter where you shoot, why are you not shooting so far up that if you do hit it, it'll blow your mind? Why are you shooting at things that you know, okay, this is cool. Shoot at things that when you hit it, you like, whoa, you need to be in a whoa, aha moment for a good 35 minutes when that arrow hits where you were shooting. Only two problems. We're dreaming too small. We're shooting too low. If you know you got to take a shot either way, when you wake up and have breath, you're taking a shot at something. I don't care if you're shooting low, sideways, you're shooting a little drunk, you're shooting somewhere. Take your little pistol or whatever you're shooting with your bow and arrow, and you just shoot it as high as you can shoot it. I mean, the worst that can happen is on its way down, it still hits something higher than you were shooting. So that's what it boils down to. Why not dream so big and make a phone call and say, hey, I'm such and such. And I want to know if I could be the CEO of your company. Blow their mind. Let you listen. If that person happens to say, you know what? We're actually looking for somebody of color to come in. That we were trying to place this seat with a person of color. And we need more males in our industry. Are you available at 3:00 for a Zoom call? You're gonna be like, what the? And guess what happens? As you start to do that, the more you do, the more you will do. As you start to blow your mind and shoot so high, you no longer, your vision, you no longer can see anywhere below up because you create this momentum where now all you know is up. That's all your aim is already, just like when you go golfing, they say they want your swing to be right when you first start golfing because it's hard to change your swing up in the middle of your game. Same thing when you're shooting. Start shooting so high that your aim now is so fixated that on autopilot, it's shooting so high that sometimes you're like, whoa, we shot up there? Yeah, that's you now. You're a high shooter. You're a big dreamer. The only dreams are going to be fulfilled. You know that, right? It doesn't dream. You're here for dreams to be fulfilled. It doesn't matter. So if all you do is dream big, something got to be, one of them got to come true. Unless you just don't wake up in that morning, then it doesn't matter what you're dreaming of at that point. So my point is, there's a dream that's going to manifest. Doesn't matter what you do. If you sit around on your butt all day long, a dream is going to manifest, even if it's a nightmare. So you might as well dream so big, and all dreams are big, that anyone that comes true, you good. I'm good. I've shot my arrow, everything so high. Anything that it hits, I'm good. Anything it hits. That is the mindset. Those are the words and the actions and the feelings, your three-part house. That's the alignment. Your thoughts are, I got this. I can do this. I'm going to show up either way. I got the address. It's mine. The feeling is I feel the fear and I do it anyways. I don't feel like I could belong here, but you know what? I'm going to show up anyways. That's the feeling. Your actions are, I'm shooting high. I'm showing up. And I'm going to be okay with whatever happens. Don't come with an expectation because expectations are there to disappoint. Come with an intention. Intention just says, I intend on coming and being my best self and bringing my best person to this interview, to this show. That's my intent. but I don't have an expectation of myself or you. I just have a good, pure, loving, awesome intent. And that's what's going to manifest is my intent. This interview is going to bless somebody. That's my intent. It's going to change someone's life. Somebody's going to show up to an address they've been not showing up to for the past couple years. And they're going to show up with their suit on, with their boots tied, and their confidence, and they're going to walk into every blessing they could ever imagine. That's my intent. But I don't expect anything. So I can never be disappointed. I'm just here to be a vessel and hope that someone takes one or two pieces and it changes their whole life. And they don't even have to DM me or say, Dr. Will, this is what happened. I don't care about that. It's energy. I'll feel it. I'll get mines. I'm good. I know I will because I'm going to get mines no matter what. Nobody can take that from me. And this is where folks need to look at when it comes to that approach of, I'm not good enough. Well, bruh, it doesn't matter how ungood you are. If it's yours, it's sitting in the download waiting. Listen, you could be not good enough, but I still can't take what's yours. So that's fine. So it doesn't matter what you do. You never can sabotage God's blessings. You cannot. They're perfectly created for Dr. Will. You can have the worst day on earth. Your blessings are just waiting for you. It's like a UPS delivery. It's sitting there. It's going to sit there for the rest of your life. You can drive and pick it up, baby, or you can let it sit there, but it's never going to return to its sender. It can't. It's just so go get your stuff. Go get what's yours. Go pick it up. And showing up is going to get it. Showing up is picking it up. And you become so empowered. When you just show up scared, you're like, you show up and you're like, this was all right. This is actually better than all right. You know what? I'm doing this. And then celebrate yourself. Celebrate. We got to celebrate ourselves more. Really be proud of what we're doing. Really be proud of who we are. And ask yourself, would I be proud if I did this? Would I be proud if I said this? Would I be proud if I offer this? Really, would you be proud of yourself? Not, am I going to impress Dr. Will I be proud if I show up like this? Because if impressing you demises me, again, self-inflicted pain. Then we got to look at, where did you learn that self-inflicting pain was the way that you do things? Now we got to look at that. Someone taught you that. That's not who you are. Who you are is self-love. Someone came in and eclipsed your self-love by teaching you something that's self-inflicting pain. We got to discuss that. We got to get in that pain pocket so we can fill it up with some peace and fill it up with some truth. Because all pain is trauma and lies. It's telling you that you're different than who you really are.
All right. So I can't end this interview without asking you, how can people work with you?
Awesome. They can go to my website at drbryant.co, and that's drbryant.co, not .com. They can reach out to me via email at contactdrbryant@gmail.com. Social media, I'm _Dr. Bryant. And then Facebook is just Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. If you Google Dr. Bryant or mental detox, we come up #1 on Google. And if you want to be a part of our foundation, you can contribute financially, or you can contribute in-kind donations at the drbryantfoundation.org. We're not doing anything physically because of COVID, so everything is just more of the monetary contributions, and we put that back into our programs that we're running right now. If you want to be an NAACP member, you can also go to our page. It's at NAACP 1069. DM us, and we will get your membership rocking and rolling, and you can be a part of our community activist work that we've been killing it. NAACP has just been killing it this year, working with law enforcement, police reform, prison reform, expungement. I mean, you name it, we are boots to the floor, rocking and rolling. And so yeah, that's where you can find me at. And Dr. Will, I want to say thank you for having me on. You did such a great job. Your questions are really, really provoking. And they're questions that I know folks always tend to ask me in my DMs and through my emails. And I didn't even tell you the questions, and you were directly in alignment with information that people constantly are asking me to provide. So thank you for being plugged into source enough to be obedient to those questions that source gave you to ask, and for having the show that give people information and knowledge that can turn to power once they apply it. So thank you so much for you being of service and being a vessel and an awesome sauce guy, and doing your purpose of what you're supposed to be doing. So good for you.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate you sharing so much. I'm very excited about the interview, and so when you say yes, I was like, all right, and so I'm glad we were able to make this happen.
Absolutely. I look forward to sharing it on my platforms and on my social media and all that good stuff.
Excellent. Now, people, you know how I do this. This podcast episode will be on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Simplecast, Stitcher, and Spotify. I need you to subscribe and share it with your network. I do like the stars, but if you would leave me some comments and some reviews, that would be great. Because not only am I trying to be found, but I'm also trying to get Oprah on the show. And I want her to know that I'm doing big things around here. Again, I'd like to thank my guest, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, for coming on and dropping so many gems. And I'd like to thank you again for listening to another episode of the Dr. Will Show, the Mobile University for Entrepreneurs. As always, people, invest in you, EDU, peace.